Hello there. As you can see, I'm not at home right now, and therefore my visual tools are somewhat limited. But anyway, never mind. We'll give it a go. So what I've been asked to do is something on the absence of property rights. So property rights is to do with the idea of market failure. And the market failure itself is a concept that people is a concept that people tend not to understand. Yeah. So if we say, well, what is market failure? People tend to think about that, as being to do, as being to do with the real world, but it isn't. As with many of the more abstract theories, what it's to do is a situation where there is literally no government. There's no government intervention in the market at all. So it's the pure operation of supply and demand, and what it's saying is that in a situation where you've got no government, there is a danger that even if you leave supply and demand just to their own devices, what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with a misallocation of resources. And what a misallocation of resources means, is quality job. What a misallocation of resources means, is that we're going to have too much of some stuff. So things with external costs, for example, you'll tend to have too many of them. Those external costs will be ignored, the price will be too low, and therefore the market will supply too many of them, or consumers will demand too many of them. In the case of things with, for example, external benefits, then what will tend to happen there is that the external benefits will be ignored and they will be undersupplied. So sometimes you'll have too much or too many. Sometimes you'll have too few. Either way, what we have in that case is we have a misallocation of resources, and as a result of that, what we end up with is a welfare loss. What that means is that community surplus isn't as high as it could be. So if we take our standard diagram, for micro, there's output, and there's kind of costs, benefits, prices, and so on. We know that supply is equal to marginal cost. Demand is equal to marginal benefit, and in a situation where there are no external costs, then that would also be marginal social cost, and that would also be marginal social benefit. And what we're saying then is that if you're not there, then welfare hasn't been maximised. If you only produced Q1, look at this colours, quality job. If you look at that, then what we're saying is that you would have failed to get that amount of welfare, so there'd be welfare loss. If on the other hand, we ended up at say Q2, then we'd end up with a welfare loss of that amount. And because in this case the marginal cost would have been greater than the marginal benefit, so that would be a bad thing. In this case, marginal benefit would have been greater than marginal cost. So again, failing to produce those units is a bad thing. So what about so there are lots of types of market failure. So we talked about externalities and so on. Also public goods, information asymmetry, and so on. But what I'm going to talk about then, is an absence of property rights. So what is it that property rights mean? If we have property rights, what it means is that the good is excludable. And what that means, is that I can stop you from using my pen. It's my pen. You can't take it away from me. It's my smartphone. You can't take it away from me. So what that so in other words, that's just the normal operation of a capitalist economy. Which is that people own resources, and other people can't have them. So the problem with an absence of property rights, which what we're talking about today, an absence of property rights, means that we have resources that are non-excludable. And what that means is that we can't stop non-payers, from accessing the resource, and that's a bit of a problem. It's a particular problem. And it means essentially you're not going to be able to supply goods through the market. But in this context, it's a problem because the resources for which an absence of property rights are an issue, they are also diminishable. Or if you prefer, they are rivalrous. So non-diminishable, non-rivalrous means that if I use it, it doesn't stop you, or if I use it, it doesn't get used up. In this case, we're saying that they are diminishable. Yeah, so therefore, yeah, an extra user reduces the total amount available, yeah, to everybody else. Now, at this stage, so of the resource or good, if you prefer, that's available. At this stage, we now have a problem. Because what we got is something that on the one hand, we've got something that on the one hand is non-excludable, so we can't stop non-payers from using it. So it's a free-for-all. Everybody can access this product, or everybody, who has the, I mean, there are probably some issues here, but basically there's no market forces that would stop you. Whereas at the same time it's diminishable. Yeah, so the resource is going to get used up. And what we're talking about here now, is we're talking about kind of fish in the open sea. Remember, we've got no government here. Yeah, so there's nobody to stop you from going out and fishing. There's no licenses, there's nothing like that, because it's a free market problem, yeah? So we're talking about fish, we're talking about, ivory, so elephant tusks, maybe we're talking about, tropical, maybe we're talking about, rainforest, maybe we're talking about rainforest wood, maybe we're talking about, kind of rainforest wood, one or the other, in all of these cases, these resources are obviously finite, so, they're going to get used up. I mean, fish can breed, so the problem here is if you take them too quickly, trees can grow, but it takes thousands of years. So, at a given moment in time, there's only a finite amount of, fishies, elephants, rainforests, and so on, but there's nothing really, there's no government regulation, certainly, to stop people from taking them. And at that stage, what's going to happen, of course, I mean, another example would be something like, kind of rivers, clean waters in rivers. That's also, if we can't stop people from, dumping shit in the rivers, then we've got a problem. So what's going to happen is that the resource, as a result of all this, your resource, is going to end up being, you're going to get an overexploited resource. Too much of it is going to be used in the present moment in time. As a result of which, we end up with a collapse of fish stocks. We end up with whaling. So there's very few whales left. We end up with logging in the rainforests and so on. Elephants get hunted to extinction. Rivers get pumped full of shit. Whereas if you have property rights, that doesn't happen. So we don't have over sheeping, for example. We don't have over cowing. We don't have over pigging. Because if you come along to my field and you try and take my sheep, I'll say, "Oh, you get off my land." I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I own the resource. So, where there is an absence of property rights, what's going to happen? And sometimes this overlaps with kind of externalities and so on, because, if I can't stop you from abusing my land or my river or my rainforest and so on, then you're gonna tend to overuse it. So this is the fundamental problem, which is that we have where there's an absence of property rights, we have a product that's non-excludable, which means we can't restrict access to it, but it runs out. Is diminishable, and because we can't exclude people can use it for free. So anybody can go into the sea and catch fish, and they're a finite amount. Those fish are going to get overused. So this is a market failure, because there's a misallocation. It's not that because there's a misallocation of the resources in the sense that all of the elephants die this year, all of the fish get overused, all of the trees get chopped down, and therefore there's nothing for future generations. So, if you can see a situation where somebody has unrestricted access to a resource without using it, there is an absence of property rights, and particularly if that product is then diminishable, it's all going to get used up, and therefore the market fails to allocate resources in an efficient way. Too much is produced today or used today, too little is therefore available to future generations, and therefore you have a misallocation of resources, and therefore there is market failure.